Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sandwich Commission on Disability. I'd like to call the meeting to order. This meeting will be recorded and provided to Sandwich Community Television for future viewing. Today is today's definitely not October. Today is November 5th at 5 p.m. This meeting is being held remotely in accordance with the state laws and regulations, most recently Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 and Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021. This meeting will be available on demand on the SCTV website. We will begin with roll call. Meg Keegan, that's me, I'm here. Kelly Trapasso.
Here.
Joseph Saunier is not here. Dom Jellison.
Here.
Joanne Leberts. She, I think, is going to be late. She's not here right now. Lisa Judelson. Oh, man. I see you, but I don't hear you. I'm gonna. Oh, sham. Hold on. Just letting her know. Okay, let's keep going. Hopefully she'll come back. Julia Wright is not here. Chanda DeSanti.
Here.
Janine Cullen. You're muted. Or I can't hear you, I like to try to say.
So we're going to search for something.
Janine, I'm gonna try to ask it to unmute. And then see if that will prop something up for you. Hold on. I just hit that, so that may help. Oh, Julia Wright is here. Can you unmute too? We're having an unmute issue, I think.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Awesome. Nice to see you. Oh, Lisa, do you want to try again? Janine is also trying. There is a setting that I can change to unmute people. If you give permission, I might try that next time. This may help us. Lisa, I'm going to try to hit a button to ask to unmute to see if that helps you. While we're waiting. How do you say your last name again, Stephanie?
Latonin.
Latonin. Okay. Back to roll call. Stephanie Latonin.
Here.
Joanne Lebers.
Here.
Awesome. Okay. We do have enough people to keep going. Do you want to give a thumbs up, Janine? I can see you. Do you want to? If you're not able to unmute, give me a thumbs down. Maybe she can't hear me. Thumbs up for a mute. So you're not unmuted and we can't hear you. We can't count, and I know it's hard. We can't count anybody that can't be heard. I'm pretty sure we still have enough people. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there's Lisa in the car.
All right.
Oh, there you go. We got you. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's here. She's giving a thumbs up. I'm going to try to ask to unmute to see if it gives you a pop-up that you can. No? Okay.
I didn't have the pop-up.
All right. Lisa, well, when you get home, hopefully you can unmute. Okay. And Don hasn't been sworn in yet, so he's here, but not officially. No votes. You can talk. No votes though. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance? Yes, Tom. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Awesome. So I'm gonna skip to the Cape Cod Commission to come talk to us because they're here as a guest, and I want to let them go first. Uh, so if you want to introduce yourself, and I'm excited to have you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joyous Michael, one of the transportation planners at the Cape Cod Commission. I prepared a short presentation. Would I be able to have
Yeah.
sharing rights, or should I email?
Nope, I can give you that.
Okay, I think.
I'm just gonna make you co-host,
Okay.
and that should be able to, you should be able to do what you need to do with that. Let me know if you need more.
Okay, wait a second.
And if you can describe what's on the screen, to your best of your ability, that would be awesome. We have 3 blind members.
So I'm here to talk about the Cape Cod Transit Needs Assessment. On the screen here is a Flex bus image of CCRTA bus, and just some text kind of describing why I'm here. The Sandwich Commission on Disability. It's November 5th, 2025, 5 p.m. And this is in partnership with the Cape Cod Commission and the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. So our agenda for today, I'm gonna give a little introduction, talk about our online GIS mapping tool, some of the surveys we've given, as well as some results, and then talk about some more of our outreach and then next steps of where we're going with this project. So oops, one second. So this transit needs assessment was identified as a regional priority through previous studies and public outreach efforts. Each year, commission staff develop a Unified Planning Work Program, or UPWP. This outlines kind of the planning studies and work that Transportation Commission staff will be doing throughout the year. In the fall of 2024, we initiated the first year of this 2-year study as part of our 2025 UPWP. And this initial phase focused on evaluating existing conditions. We developed a transit viewer map online, as well as we launched the public comment tool and survey and some community outreach events. And then in the second year, that began on October 1st this year, under our 2026 UPWP, it's focusing on completing our outreach, analyzing the public input, and drafting a final report for the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. And the report will help identify some improvements across the regional transit system. So to start off, we were reviewing past transit-related studies. I've highlighted on the slide the past 5 years of studies, so I'm going to talk a little bit about each study. So the Cape Cod Commission did the CCRTA, Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority, bus stop inventory in 2023. This was cataloging all the bus stops on the C line, the Flex, and the H2O routes, with a focus on the top 20 highest ridership stops. Additionally, the Commission did the 2023 Coordinated Public Transit Human Services Plan. This is a federally required document that has to be updated every 4 years. And the focus on this was improving mobility for seniors and individuals with disabilities by identifying service gaps. And then the CCRTA did their 10-year strategic plan in 2022, as well as their last comprehensive regional transit plan. And both of these are also federally mandated plans that have to be updated at least every 5 years. And then the insights that are going to be gained from this overall transit needs assessment will contribute directly to the upcoming 2025 update of their new comprehensive regional transit plan. On this slide, it displays an image of like what the online GIS webpage would look like. It has a little information about the project and some icons you can click on to take you to specific topic areas like existing conditions, ridership data, the outreach comment tool, or the survey. To provide more detail, this slide displays the existing conditions map and the drop-down menu with all available options. So the map layers are represented visually through legend icons. The map displays park and ride lots by a gray marker. The CCRTA bus stops are shown in dark gray if a shelter is present, and light gray if it's only a sign. The CCRTA fixed bus routes are depicted by their designated route colors. And then the intercity bus routes are shown in a light gray and dark gray kind of dashed pattern. And then the Cape Cod Flyer is depicted in a gray dotted line. And so also on this page, it outlines the range of services offered by the CCRTA. So there's things like their fixed route service, the DART, which is the Dial-A-Ride, or the Smart DART, the Boston Hospital Transportation, as well as ADA Paratransit. Additionally, it highlights past studies we've done, the Cape Cod Commission or the CCRTA, over the past 10 years related to transit. And so on this slide, we have the ridership data. This is 2022 data from the CCRTA. It shows boardings and alightings at both fixed route, and boardings and alightings is when you get on or off the bus. And so on the map, the fixed stops are shown in orange, and then the flag stops are shown in pink. And then this data was valuable to us because it provided insight into areas where there might have been high ridership at flag stops, and that could indicate opportunities to establish new bus stops in the future or improvements.
Can I ask a question
So-
about that? Just to,
Yeah,
um,
back it up.
so it looks like a lot of this goes from like Woods Hole to Hyannis along Route 28, keeps
Mhm.
south, and then kind of like, or there's a kind of a blank spot in between a little bit. There's a center in Orleans that seems to have a lot of activity, and then there's not much between Orleans to like Truro, and then there's a lot of activity from like part of, is that all P-Town or Truro and P-Town? I can't tell.
Yeah, that's a lot of Truro and P-Town because they do have the P-Town and Truro bus.
Yep.
If you were to go online and zoom in a bit more, it would show better ridership, but because it's so zoomed out, it's kind of just showing you like the really big pockets of people. But there are buses like all along.
Yeah, but it seems like the majority of the people are doing, along from Falmouth, just so that the people who can't see, just when
Oh,
I
yes, yes.
going from Falmouth, there's definitely a big spot in Hyannis, and then but it's mostly along
Route
28.
28. It
Yeah.
is because there's limited service. I don't think there's much service on Route 6A. And then you'll see like they have to take Route 6 once you get out to like the Outer Cape.
Right.
But there's small amounts.
Thank you.
Okay, so next we're talking about the top bus stop locations, and this is the top 10 for the Cape based on 2022 data. On the left, we have a picture of a bus at the Provincetown Macmillan Pier. You can see what is that? Whatever Provincetown Tower is in the back, you can see visually. So to start out, identifying these bus stops, it's including major transit hubs like the Hyannis Transportation Center. With that, we saw people getting on and off in that 2022 year. Over almost 72,000 people were counted. And then moving on to Macmillan Pier, we saw around 58,000 people were counted there. After that, you have North Market Street and the Mashpee Commons stop. That's number 3 with around 31,000 people. The 4th stop was Stop and Shop in Orleans. That's around almost 28,000 people. Number 5 was the Cape Cod Mall in Hyannis. There's 2 stops at the Cape Cod Mall. And so we combine those, and that ends up being around almost 28,000 people. For number 6, the Falmouth Mall in Falmouth, that's almost 27,000. And then number 7, this was a flag stop, so this kind of stood out due to it not being, you know, a fixed route. And it's showing high ridership kind of between fixed stops in downtown Hyannis. So this was around the area of Main Street, Old Colony Road, and Ocean Street. And that had about 24,000 people. Next, we have Woods Hole in Falmouth. That's at almost 24,000. And then Patriot Square in South Dennis at around 14,000. And lastly, we have number 10, which would be Stop and Shop in East Harwich at almost 11,000. So we're seeing high ridership all around the Cape. And so this slide displays the comment tool map. It allows users to zoom in on the map and kind of pin specific locations where they would believe transit service could be improved. So feedback in this can include suggestions for newer adjusted bus routes, the need for bus shelters, lighting, sidewalks, crosswalks, schedule changes, or other transit related ideas. Users can also thumbs up comments submitted by others that they agree with. So we can kind of track, you know, like maybe we've heard something before and other people agree with that. And so far we've gotten around 40 comments through this tool, which will remain open through the end of the year. Visually, we're seeing a lot of comments. We're in P-Town. We did an outreach event there, so we got a lot more comments over there. There's a couple in like Falmouth, some for the Mid-Cape area, and then we have some also in like Orleans, Eastham, like moving into Wellfleet a bit.
I'm not seeing much in Sandwich, so hopefully we can change that for you.
Yes, I would love Sandwich comments. Yeah, I don't think we have any for Sandwich right now. So on this slide, it's displaying our bus survey. This is like the paper version. If you guys need any copies of that, I can drop them off sometime. But we have versions in English, Portuguese, and Spanish. And then next we'll talk about the survey online, which is like the same thing, but just online version. And the survey is available also through the end of the year. So on the left is kind of like a screenshot of what you'll see when you go into the online bus survey part of the GIS map. And it'll break down by CCRTA travel, intercity bus travel, or demographics. So far, we have 275 online responses, which I'm pretty happy about. But there can always be more. And so now kind of turning over to some of the data and what we've seen for one of the questions we have on the survey is like, how often do you ride the bus? This is referring to CCRTA travel, and almost a third of respondents said they ride 2 to 4 times a week or every day, followed by a few times a year. I'm at like around 24%, and then the rest riding 1 to 3 times a month at 9% or once a week at 6%. Some more questions we have regarding what it kind of is the purpose of the CCRTA trip. The results show that a large number of people are using the buses to get to school, work, or social and recreational purposes. And then the other common trip purposes include shopping, medical appointments, and various other personal needs. But you're seeing, yeah, the majority of people, it's school and college at 31%, work at 22%, social recreational 20%, shopping 10%, medical at 7%, and then others at 10% as well. So we have to dig more into what kind of like the others are. And then for which CCRTA routes do you use? We're seeing the highest ridership on the H2O line, the C line, and the Flex, which that is expected. But following closely, we have the Sandwich line, Provincetown North Truro bus, and then the Hyannis Crosstown bus. But it was very encouraging to see that all of the CCRTA routes were being used. That reflects that there's a strong, you know, system-wide engagement happening.
Do you know where exactly the Sandwich line is? I'm just not familiar with it.
I'd have to pull up a map. I can't think off the top of my head, but
That's all right. Maybe after we can share that.
we can open that up.
I was actually looking on at the same time as we've been talking, just to kind of look at the website, Meg, and there's a stop at Stop and Shop on Quaker Meeting House Road that then proceeds out, takes a left and goes down 130, and then there's a stop right in front of the old grist mill. So it kind of cuts Sandwich in half, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yeah, are those the only two stops?
No, there were other ones, because I was thinking the exact same thing, because I didn't see any spots there. There's actually a lot of stops in Sandwich. There's one at the Spalding Rehabilitation Hospital in Sandwich. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing now and I'm out of there. But there are several stops in Sandwich. It just seems they're not being utilized.
Yeah, I wonder if after we could share that map.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so now on to intercity bus. And intercity bus is including Peter Pan and Plymouth Brockton buses. Usually you would get these at maybe like the Park and Ride or the Hyannis Transportation Center. But almost half of respondents said that they're using these services primarily for airport travel, which makes sense. However, there's a large amount of people that are also utilizing this type of transit for work at 17% or leisure at 19%. And then others using it for medical 6% or just other various reasons at 9%. And then how often do you travel by intercity bus? Most people are saying that they use it a few times a year, which corresponds with airport travel. But that said, a notable portion are reporting using it monthly or even multiple times per week. This kind of gives the impression to me that maybe they're using it for commuting purposes into Boston, or attending maybe regular medical appointments and whatnot. And then there was a small amount that said they use it once a week, every other week, or rarely. So onto our outreach. On the left, there's an image of a poster. This is just one of the posters we used for outreach at the Falmouth Bus Depot. And it kind of just says like, your ride, your voice. We're just really trying to hear like feedback. And so for this, we hosted a series of pop-up tables for our outreach at a variety of locations. These included the Hyannis Transportation Center, farmers markets in Truro and Sandwich, as well as the Canal Region Farmers Market. We went to the Park and Ride lots in Barnstable and Sagamore, as well as like the Falmouth Bus Depot. We went to Macmillan Pier, Market Basket in Bourne, as well as the airport in Hyannis. And we just wanted to make sure that we kind of had like a broad spread of geographic coverage for these, so we can get a diverse range of input from communities. In addition to these pop-ups, we also rode the Peter Pan bus from Hyannis to P-Town, kind of to see what it's like to be a rider, as well as everyone in the transportation team, at least. We rode the CCRTA routes to kind of make our own observations as well. Let's see. Here we go. These are images, so I'll try to describe some of these. So top left, we have Macmillan Pier. This is me and my coworker. Behind us is kind of like, we were in that area where they drop off the buses. So there's also bike racks behind us. The second picture, Falmouth Bus Depot. This is the CCRTA has a consultant for their update of the comprehensive regional transit plan. So that's just the image there, kind of also if you saw it in the last slide, but it's just tabling. We have bike helmets out there. We had all papers and types of things. That's what it is for most of the pop-up tables. We have all of our papers, surveys, flyers. We have maybe a couple granola bars, some bike lights. We like to give out bike lights and reflective wristbands. Additionally, we did bus shelter flyering. On the image, it has the bus schedule and then it has the flyer next to it. We also did flyering in other types of like community boards. So like post offices, grocery stores, some libraries. My favorite image here is me with a ferret. This was at the Canal Region Farmers Market. Super fun to get out there at the farmers markets and engage with the community. And then, yeah, so farmers markets, HTC, Macmillan Pier, Cape Cod, Gateway Airport, the bus depot, the Barnstable Park and Ride. Yes, and from this outreach, we garnered over 100 comments, being out in the open with the people. This next slide is from, we had a transit needs assessment listening session October 9th. This was in Falmouth at the library, the Falmouth Library, Public Library. This was in partnership with the Falmouth's Commission on Substance Use and the Falmouth Human Services. And after a short presentation, we did activities and had discussion. Pictured on this slide is some people surrounding a poster, which was our activity 1, which was community mapping. The map displays CCRTA bus routes, and we discussed what could be improved with the transit system in Falmouth. So kind of similar to like presentation to what I'm doing here today. And then for our next steps, as I mentioned earlier, these outreach efforts and public comments will directly support the development of the CCRTA's updated comprehensive regional transit plan. The public feedback gathered can help advocate for broader transit solutions and highlight future infrastructure needs, some of which may align with upcoming projects that are funded through the Transportation Improvement Program, or the TIP. And then ultimately, the Cape Cod Commission will produce a final report for the CCRTA, which will summarize the outreach efforts and provide recommendations based on the public's input. So other ways to get involved, you could go online to the public comment tool, fill out that a bit, take the online survey, or we can drop off surveys. Or you could have us talk to another group if you're in another group, or email us your thoughts. We also have the Barnstable public listening session coming up. That's on November 13th. And that'll be at 1 p.m. at the Barnstable Adult Community Center. On the right is just a picture of the flyer for the Barnstable listening session. And I can send out also all this information later. But yeah, to conclude, I'd just like to thank you guys for having me to come talk about this. My email contact is here. It's JOYIASMIKLE@CAPECOMMISSION.org. And then the QR code here will, if you scan it, if you have a smartphone, it'll take you to the online GIS webpage. But yeah, thank you. If you have like any questions, some discussion or thoughts you have for Sandwich or the Upper Cape area, Mid Cape, anywhere, Lower, Outer Cape, Lower.
Awesome.
Hi, this is Kelly. My question is this like project just related to the fixed routes and not the paratransit, if that makes sense?
It's anything that has to do with the Cape Cod Regional Transit Authority. So if you have any thoughts on paratransit or their Smart Dart or Dart, those comments are also welcome.
Okay. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Of course.
If you want to take down your screen, we can open it for public comment. I only see one person who's usually not here and didn't know who they were, if they wanted to make comment, but wanted to make space for that. But otherwise, anyone that has comment on please share. I know there are people here that use it, and we'd love to hear your experience for public comment.
Hi, it's Lisa. I can unmute now, thankfully.
Nice to hear you.
I'm glad that you're going to go to that program. And I do use the DART quite often. Maybe sometimes it's like 2 or 3 times a month, and sometimes it's less than that. But and while it's funny because the comments are always the same. Wow, it took a long time to get that bus, and they'll say, but it's not a taxi, it's a shared ride service. And so, and I do understand that, but the wait times can be challenging. Sorry, not wait times, but the early pickup. sorry, to then get to your drop off to be on time based on the other ridership on that day. And while, because I'm blind now and used to drive my own car, it's challenging for me using a share ride service. However, you know, I talk to other friends of mine who have no public transportation where they live. And then I am so grateful for the RTA and for the shared ride experience. Even, you know, sometimes I'm getting picked up an hour and a half and on the bus for quite a length of time. Or when I get picked up to come home, you know, I've been on the bus an hour and a half to get home. But, you know, other times it's much quicker than that. So I am grateful that we have a system. I wish the Smart Dart went more places than just in each own town, but I also understand the charging, the battery situation, and that if I took a car to P-Town, how would it get back? I mean, I get all of the reasons why it is the way it is. Mostly I just want a personal driver, but thank you for doing this. I think it's important to check in with the people using the system.
This is Kelly again. I have one quick question too. I'm blind and I can't drive and I have kids, and I've always wondered, like, for the paratransit, can you take your kids like on the Smart Dart with you? Or if not, that would be my comment. Like, you know, could I take them with me, you know, not just always go by myself?
Yeah, I'm not too sure on that, but I can definitely like note that as a comment.
Is
Thank
Smart
you.
Dart considered paratransit?
I believe so, yes, because it's like a smaller use.
Okay.
This is Dome. I got a question. A few years ago, I was trying to look back here and see when it was, but we had some issues with transportation to Riverview, to the school there. Has those been resolved? Do you know?
That parent is still reaching out. I put them in touch with their resources and invited them to come today. They had conflicts, so they couldn't come. But I did tell them about the Barnstable one as well. They can always reach out to you, Joya, or the RTA, or Ian, our ADA coordinator, for that as well. I believe that Ian has been looped in on those conversations, but I can follow up with him to see if he actually has had a conversation or invited input from them. I did notice on the map when it did come up that there's a lot on 28 and not as much on 6. Do you know if there's a reason for that?
I think 28, because it's a bit wider than at least like 6A, it's harder to make stops, I believe. But I'm not sure why there isn't exactly more. I think there might not be enough density on 6A for there to be more service. But that is also something we're looking into because we're also doing a 6A study right now at the commission.
Yeah, because that's where Riverview is. Oop, they're gonna. Okay, I think it's partially over. Sorry. Because I think that's in Sandwich. That's where Riverview is. That's where some of the things, and I don't know enough about it to make a public comment about it. But you know, that part seems to not be covered in Sandwich, and it looks like there's other parts that are 6A that might not be covered, at least according to the map that I saw. And I just would be curious to know why that is. And I know that there's a ton of different reasons why you know, they might not go to the school or not, but that was definitely something that has come up here a few times.
Yeah, if I could make a comment, so there is a program at Cape Cod Community College that young people that either they graduate at 18 or age out of 22 with disabilities, and it's basically a special education program at the college. And I know that I've had clients that needed that transportation, some from Riverview, some from Bourne, to get to Cape Cod Community College because they don't drive. I think it's Project Forward, and it's DDS sponsored. So that would be, a huge, huge plus for a lot of these, young people that want to use that program at Cape Cod Community College.
Yeah, and it did show on your charts that a lot of people use it for school. And so understanding where the people are that need to use it in order to get to school. And I don't know how Cape Cod Community College coordinates that, but it'd be interesting to understand that better.
Definitely.
Do you know how, or maybe this might be something, if it's not done, to be done, like how you identify the people who may need it? Like, is there a way, there's different, like, comes to mind, like sight loss services. Like, are you connected with programs across the Cape that, serve a population that may need to use that, to ask them about, like, I would bring this survey to them, and ask them about how those people may have feedback or may want to use it. You know what I mean? Like, like you said, like going to the farmers markets, but you do have people with disabilities and elderly are the primary people that use this, and going to those are probably a really good idea, because can they get, how is it easy enough for them to get to those places? I know some of them were bus stops, but going to them has always been, like going to the people that you're trying to get the feedback from has always been a good idea for me, or successful for me. I mean, there's the Barnstable Commission on Disability. You may want to reach out to them as well. There might be one in Dennis. There is a list. If you go to the Massachusetts Office on Disability, they have a list of every Commission on Disability and their contact information. So outreach to them might be good. Is there anyone here that knows a good place for them to outreach to ask for this survey and ask for feedback besides the ones that I mentioned?
I'm going to be speaking some more with some other, like some COAs, like Councils on Aging. I'm not sure how the CCRTA does like their outreach, or like how they would specifically designate like where they're putting bus stops, basically. Because yeah. But that is something we've been kind of trying to identify more, like what are some more vulnerable populations that might need the bus or are using the bus. We're thinking of doing maybe some more outreach with like housing authorities as well. So we're always open to other ideas of like where we could or should be doing outreach.
Yeah, I can ask around a lot of, like, I'm just trying to think of the people like Cord. I'm sure you've reached out to them, but like,
Mm-hmm.
say again? No.
Yeah, I believe we've reached out to Cord.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the people I've seen in my digital equity groups, like VinFen, or, different, if you reach out to the county, they are now putting together a database of all the resources for people in the community, health resources and different. So you might be able to reach out to them and use that database. Or the Elder Services of Cape Cod. I work with them and around accessibility stuff or digital equity stuff. And they have a lot of connections to people that you could reach out to and get this survey to get it out to more people so you can have more feedback. Because I think going to those places, or even doctor's offices, that might be
We've
something.
spoken with like Cape Health Collaborative, or like Outer Cape Community Solutions, stuff like that.
To walk in the clinics that are up there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it just even particular to people that have disabilities, reaching out to what I'm saying is that the county actually has like a list of disability services. They're like been putting that together. So you could very easily get from them a list of people to blast some of this information to push out to people.
Do you have like a specific contact, or who should I
Yeah.
ask for that?
Email me and I'll
Okay.
email me and because I won't remember in 5 seconds, but
All
you
right.
email me, I will do that. There I have a list of people for sure. Does anybody else have any public comment? I super appreciate you coming and giving us this opportunity to speak and to be heard. And I'm excited about a lot of the work that the Cape Cod Commission does out in the community to do surveys across the region to help better the Cape. So appreciate you all.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
All right. Should I leave or?
Yeah, you can leave. Totally
Okay.
fine. We try to do you first so we don't waste your time. So yes, it was very nice to see you.
Yes,
Thank
nice
you.
to meet you all. Bye.
Bye. All right. Any discussion about that at all anymore? Just making sure. All right. Okay. The minutes, Joe hasn't had a chance to do them, so that's why we're not approving those. And then we'll talk about the town officials discussion. Kelly, please help me out on this one. We spoke with Bud, Leanne Drake, and Marie Buckner. Leanne Drake is awesome. She's really cool. She really was able to understand a lot was going on. At one point, she said, I think the problem here is communication, which I gave her a hell yes to. But I think she has some really great plans to help us fix that. And one of those things is I don't know if we're going to do a subcommittee or we probably will, but she's going to help us build a mini strategic plan. So she's going to help us with a mission statement, a vision statement, what we do, what our goals are, how we're going to meet those goals. Not like a huge, like a big deal one, but a little bit deal one so that the town knows, like we can figure out what our priorities and the town knows what they are so they can align with those. And so I think I'm a little, I guess and then that's really great. And I think that will help going forward. I think she's going to work with Ian and me and Kelly to figure out how we're going to logistically do it, like when they're coming to this meeting and whatnot. They proposed, bringing each department to come and talk to us monthly about what they're working on and doing. It was at first more to kind of tell us all the great things they're doing, but I really pushed for feedback to make sure that they're gathering feedback from us. Because it's our job, as they keep reminding us, to advise the select board. And so we should probably be doing that by having these conversations. Is there anything you want to add, Kelly?
No, yeah, I think it went really well. I think our next big step is to just meet with Ian and go from there. Yeah, I think they were really receptive to wanting to work with us, which is good.
Yep. I think it's really important to, I don't know how I want to say this, everyone here, we live in this and work in this community, and being able to have a voice and say, how things impact us is really important. And I think the town would help them if they knew like if you were to reach out to them and say, why it matters to you and what you care about. And I think part of the strategic plan, the way that I want to think, the way that I'm thinking about it today, and this may change when we talk again with Leanne, but is I would like everyone to think about what matters to you in this town and what you want improved and what department that might be with. Because one of the examples that Leanne sent out and I forwarded to everybody is that there's subcommittees. So, you know, Janine is really loves the beach and beach accessibility, and it's really important to her. And so if she could work with the recreation committee on that. So if we want to think about, you know, what it is, what committee that we would want to be on to do that, because in order to get any of the stuff done and for them to hear that, we need to be more organized, right? And Leanne's really going to help us with that.
Yeah, I think then they'll keep us more in the loop. Maybe if they know we're interested in something, then they'll let us know in advance instead of us finding out after.
Yeah, and it will allow for us, I don't think it's I don't even think it has to be subcommittees, as long as it's not, or whatever, I don't know, we'll figure out what it is logistically. But you know, being able to meet with the town about what you care about, right? And so then you can come back and report back to here on that. And so we're not all having to know all of the things. Like everybody gets their portion about what matters to them in their heart and what they want to see forward. But I think in general, we really need to think about, you know, what are the top priorities for us, and to be able to take action to move those forward. I know last time we did this a while ago when I was chair before the school was a priority. I did mention that to them because, you know, they are not the school, but they would work and figure out how, if that was priorities to us, to be able to do that. So I do think that they want to work with us. I don't know how high of a priority accessibility is. It's not a low priority, but you know, the town does have to run, and but the town does have to be legally responsible for all this stuff. It's touches every department, it touches everything. And I'd really rather set them up for success by giving them information and input ahead of time instead of reacting to that, you know, reacting to something that's already happened. Like they're doing a project, they have a project that's going to be Quaker Meeting House in Katuitt, that intersection. I think there's might be a few people on here that want to give some input on that, and to make sure that, you know, as road construction comes up or sidewalks or that type of stuff, that we're able to give them the information. How do people, I really would appreciate some feedback on that. What are your ideas? What are your thoughts? Nothing has to be perfect. But having some input on, you know, having a strategic plan and what matters to you, would be great. So I'll give it a few minutes. Feel free to speak up.
Yeah, Megan, I guess our big goal is, when would we want to try to have this, you know, put together? I mean, I guess it could be a work in progress.
Yeah, so at the meeting, I think I told Leanne that I mean, I'm not ready to do it until January. I'm so
Yeah.
busy right now, so it's not going to start until January. So it'll give us a, you know, we have the December meeting, and then she can come in January, and Kelly and I will probably meet in between with her to make sure we're moving stuff along. But yeah, everybody think about what matters to you and how and what you're willing to put time towards.
I think the strategic plan is a great idea because it sets expectations and some clarity around, you know, exactly what is important to us and what we're working on. And then the town knows. Like I just feel like it's a really good communication tool for clarifying things.
Definitely, it will give us steps, clear steps. And I've asked for that, like, you know, it doesn't have to be policy, but like a general procedure on what we do, how communication happens when something comes up in the community. How are we notified, or how do we notify Ian and that type of stuff? So I think that that's going to be some of the stuff that we work out.
So at Sandwich Fest, the two things we heard time and time again from people in the community were beach access and transportation.
Yep. So we should definitely put that forward. And we got a list of emails from people. I can't read some of them. That's probably part of my dyslexia, but I tried to add them into the agenda thing, and I know that there was a question that that the town was a little weary about that. I don't think we got any clarification because there's other ways to sign up. I'm happy to send those people the way that the town wants them to sign up, but if, not all that stuff is accessible, it's not always easy, whether it's digital equity or digital accessibility. So, I'm hoping that the town can use those emails to outreach to those people that ask for us to outreach to them about our agendas. And that'll be something I'll be doing soon. Anyone else have any feedback on that? All right. Let's move on. So, November disability post. Does anybody have the calendar or know can someone Google real quick what are the November disability things? We should pick one and ask the town to do it. It seems like they're not kind of doing that on their own, so I think each month we can pick one. We might want to pick one for December too, to be a month ahead. Does anybody have the ability to do that real quick?
Last month was White Cane Awareness
Oh, we
Day,
missed
and we missed it. I am ashamed to say.
it. All right, let me see if I can pull my.
Yeah, it was blind awareness too last month. I have no idea what's this one.
Joe always has all these links and files and stuff, and for whatever reason they show up on my phone, but not on my. Let me see. It was ADA Network.
I pulled up a few of them.
Oh, cool.
One is, sorry, let me see. One is International Stress Awareness Week. One is Global Usability Day, World Diabetes Day, and World COPD Day. I think those are the main ones.
Does anybody have a vote?
Can I say something quick?
Yes, of course.
I would probably do the one that's soonest. I sent something in to the town for the ADA and they didn't post it. And I think it's maybe because I sent it too late. I sent it like a day or two before. But I would just be hesitant to like wait till the end of the month to send it in case there's a miscommunication and we need to send it again or reach out to them.
Yes, for sure. My hope is to decide what we would do for December and November at this meeting. I'm trying to look up okay, here's the ADA anniversary toolkit. Does anybody have, out of what has been read, does anybody have a suggestion before I try to find this? I'm gonna put this link in the chat if anybody else wants to look too. This is the resource from the National ADA Network.
Are we only putting one thing a month?
We don't have to. We can ask for one thing a week. I think we agreed on a minimum of one a.
So one for November and one for December, is that what you're looking for?
Yes, at minimum, but we can totally do more than that. We can ask them. All right, here we go. November.
This is Chanda. I like the COPD one.
So, November is Epilepsy Awareness Month. There's a week and there's let me see. There's for Veterans Day, they have a Veterans ADA fact sheet and publications from the ADA National Network, Veterans Military Research. I would wish that they would just do everything that's on here. Let me share this. And see, like, I mean, I can take a screenshot of this and send this to them. And we can, I don't see this, I didn't see the COPD one, so we can add that.
I like that idea because then they just have it and they kind of have a record of what is actually going on, instead of just coming from us.
Yeah.
We would still have to provide them with the actual post though, because the agreement was like that we would send them the post ready to post. So we could send the screenshot to be like, these are the days we're gonna send things, but we still have to like go on Photoshop and make it.
Oh, like write the caption. Yeah, that makes sense.
Would you want to do that, Julia? Like, and you can do as much or as little as you like.
Yeah, sure. So we're gonna send the screenshot.
Well, can you make the posts? Like I'm gonna take this down. This is distracting me. If I send you the screenshot, do you want to you can pick whatever you want to, as most or as little as that you want to do to make posts for them.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. Do you
It might
have this
be
link?
days.
If I put the link in, yeah, it doesn't need to be, so there's November. Oh, let me see. So December is they have World's Aid Day, International Day of Persons with Disabilities on December 3rd, Human Rights Day, December 10th, Crohn's and Colitis Awareness Week, and then there's some ADA sharing stories stuff for December. So yeah, I guess if you're gonna do it, Julia, whichever one you pick, you can do. I mean, if you want to do this, you were the person anyway, and you can always find somebody else's post or whatever too. You know what I mean? Just give them credit. But if you want to do this monthly, I'm happy to delegate it to you, and you can let us know if you need help, if that helps.
Okay, yeah, I'll see if it's manageable and then
Okay.
let you guys know if not. The
That's
only thing is like, do we want all of these to be posts or do we want some of them to be stories?
The way that the town does it is it's not just social media. I think some of it's through social media. So, I guess that could be up to you because you could get a longer post with text that would go on the town manager's post, I believe.
Okay.
But start small, see if it's doable.
Yep. All right, that sounds good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I do have to head out though now.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no worries.
All
Thank
right.
you for coming. We're gonna end anyway.
Bye.
Bye. There's nothing under old business or other matters not reasonably anticipated by me. Is there any agenda? So next month, I believe JJ's coming to give us another update on the emergency messaging service and other things. There's a possibility that he will come with or give information about plowing, the new policy for plowing. Is there anything else that anyone would like to add to the agenda? And if you don't have something today, you can always tell us a different day.
This is not an agenda item, but Kelly, Janine, and I are going back to the schools again in
Awesome.
December.
And then, Lisa, you have all the events. So there's a couple things. There's an Apple and Verizon are getting together and doing an accessibility day in Boston next Thursday or Thursday. Lisa sent that to me. I'm gonna go. If anybody wants to come in the bus, I know it's last minute, but you can come. And there is a legislative breakfast put on by, I think it's CORD and Elder Services of Cape Cod, where the legislators are going to be there to hear stuff about accessibility or about disability. So I'm going to go to that as well. That's on Friday morning. Were there any other events that came up in your email, Lisa?
I don't think so.
So if anybody wants to go to those, I'm happy to to give someone a ride in my bus.
So Meg, you're saying November 14th, Friday?
I can send it out to everybody. Let me just look at my calendar real quick because I just put it in. I had that rescheduled. So Friday is the Aging and Disability Resource Consortium Legislative Breakfast. It's at the Doubletree by Hilton in Hyannis. And then on the 13th, it's the Verizon Accessibility and Verizon Apple Accessibility event in Boston at the Verizon building from 9 a.m. to 1. If anybody's interested. But the legislators are going to listen to us at the legislature. They should all be there. So it might be a good place to show up to.
Okay.
Anything else? I don't think we voted on anything. I'm so excited about this. I didn't have to do a roll call. I missed Joe, let me tell you. I missed Dad Joe. So is there a motion to close the meeting? At 6:01? Are we so proud of this? Figured the last 2 meetings were long enough.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second the motion, Chanda.
All right, and we don't have to do roll call for this, so everybody have a great night.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.